This podcast is brought to you by WorthItLifestyle.com, shipping worldwide healthy sweeteners and products for the paleo lifestyle. Go check out their new Build Your Own Protein Powder at WorthItLifestyle.com. Welcome to the Startup Cabin Podcast. We share great stories from European startups. I'm Steve Ferris.
And I'm Rhodin. And we're sitting down with Jane Skullman from Mindful Business. Jane works with training leaders in the tech industry to use mindfulness as a way to train their brains and gain more focus at work. Here's the interview.
Okay, we are here today with Jane Skullman. She is teaching people how to use mindfulness in their businesses. Jane, tell us a little bit about what you have going on and a little bit about yourself.
Yes, Jane Skullman, and I'm a former business developer and a businesswoman from the media industry. And I have used meditation and mindfulness. Meditation is a part of mindfulness training as an asset during my whole business career. And today I'm offering either lectures about how you can use mindfulness in your work and how to be a better leader or a better entrepreneur or a person. And I also offer programs when you go like for 8 weeks and use me as a personal brain trainer. So that's actually what I do.
Wow, sounds really interesting. And so with mindfulness, can you talk a little bit about what that whole concept is for people who aren't familiar with it, mindfulness in general?
Absolutely. Mindfulness is a way to absorb and be in the now, being here, being present. It's a set of techniques where you get rid of the distracting thoughts, where you get not to be in the future or not to be in the past, but actually here. And mindfulness then takes you where you have the capacity to be all that you are in the now, instead of having some energy in the future or some of the energy in the past.
So, I know that you have a really long background in the media industry. Can you tell us a bit about what you've been doing before and how you kind of landed in this field? Because now you're actually having your own company, but before you've been working as an executive at really big media companies here in Sweden.
Yeah. I have been working at IGG for 12 years as a business developer and a business manager. And I have been developing different magazines and also different online projects and different events, physical events where people come together and meet each other. And IGG, if you don't know, the media company, are one of the largest media industry in IT and digital. So that has been one of my, my ordinary day has been in the IT industry or the digital industry. And that is still one of my biggest interest, what you can do with IT or what you can do with the different digital channels. So meditation or mindfulness is not like the opposite of it. You rather get better at what you're doing when you use mindfulness, which is a really, really great tool when you come to the IT industry and the digital industry.
So how did you discover this tool? Because you said it was connected to what you did before. How did you discover that?
I kind of discovered meditation by accident, and I was quite young, and I was like 14 years old. I was finding a way to still my thoughts. I closed my eyes, and I could see actually a little dot in front of me, and I just kept focus on that dot. And then I discovered that my thoughts just went somewhere else, and I get really relaxed, and I got a lot of ideas from that. That's kind of strange. When you empty your head, you get ideas. But you should try it because that's one of my greatest assets as an entrepreneur, that when I do still my mind, I have those ideas, or I get creative or innovative.
That's really interesting, because I went to Hyper Island, which is an international advertising school, and one of the first thing you learn there is that to be able to be truly creative, you have to actually empty your mind and empty the team's mind of all of the generic ideas. So the first one coming to mind. So we always had to do like this first workshop with ideas, just to get the generic ones out there, to get down to the real ideas. And that's pretty much doing the same, like emptying, the brain of the things that are not that new and fresh. And it really, really worked. Really worked.
For me, it's exciting to hear about this because it's a very warm and human side that we can bring into stuff like IT and other businesses, which in the past maybe have had this era of just kind of, there's a coldness, there's a exact science how we do things, and it's all up in the head. But there's this whole part, just like there's a wholeness of a person that you're taking into account when you're being mindful, and it is a trend. People are realizing how important it is. So who have you seen using this, catching on and to the benefits of mindfulness that we have heard about in the industry?
Yeah. Some of my what do you say, idols or the people that I look at are mostly in the US for the moment. You have entrepreneurs that I probably think you know about, Evan Williams and Jack Dorsey, who was the founder of Twitter, and you have Jeff Weiner, also founder of LinkedIn, and a really cool guy called Russell Simmons. He's a serial entrepreneur, and he has done a lot of different startups, and I think he's most famous for Def Records, where he creates Def Jam Records, where he creates hip-hop music. And they all use mindfulness or meditation as a tool, not just to get calm, but also get creative. And they are one of the biggest thing they do to be more effective during the day, not to get distracted from different things, like distracted from people coming that you want to join them for coffee, or just to gossip or things like that. They really, really stay focused with their business. But they also let them to be more creative and get this stillness, and things get like clear. You can also have a problem. You don't always have these new ideas. You could be like you're stuck in a problem. How am I going to move forward from here? And then you go into meditation, empty your mind, and don't try to force a solution. Just empty your mind, and suddenly you can see the problem from a new perspective. And from there, it's like you have a kind of new way of looking at things, and there you have probably a solution.
There's been a trend going on. There's been a couple of articles the last couple of years about having white weeks. And white weeks used to be about alcohol, that you wouldn't drink or have a white month where you didn't drink or consume anything, artificial. But now they're talking about digital white weeks, where you shut off your phone, your computer, you don't have any Wi-Fi, you just get rid of all of these constant updates, reminders, etc. And a lot of interesting reactions from people, especially in the tech industry, because we're constantly connected. What they experience having those kind of white weeks, and that's that they now discover this part. We are constantly pushing more and more information into our brains, and learning to multitask. But it seems like nobody's really learning to focus their brain. But at the same time, we know if we're going to accomplish something, we have to focus. So I think it's really interesting that this is coming from different kind of perspective, and it's all happening in the tech industry, not in other industries, but exactly in the tech industry. There seems to be some kind of connection there with the super multitasking and connectivity versus the going out, living in a cabin, emptying your whole like life of those kind of distractions. And I think it's a positive thing to learn to focus. That's also brain training. Absolutely, exactly as focusing or doing a lot of things at the same time. I think this is actually more beneficial for us.
Meditation is not just like a behavior or cognitive thing. It's also actually a brain thing. You can discover changes in your brain when you do meditation. For example, the gray matter, which are in the front of the forehead, the prefrontal cortex, if you speak like the medicine language, will actually grow when you start to meditate. That means that you can be both smarter and your willpower are placed in these gray matters. So you increase both your smartness and your willpower during meditation. Wow. And I also wanted to comment on the White Week thing, also called digital detox. So you have two words there, and I think that it's why it has been like a phenomenon in the IT industry or the digital realm is that you have so many distractions when you work in IT. You work with your mobile, your computer, the laptop, and you have a lot of things coming into you. It's really information overload, and you need a way to handle that. And then digital detox or White Weeks has really been a way to handle that. And I have another, she's a really cool lady. She works at CTO at Cisco. I don't remember her first name, but she is a warrior in her last name. And
it's
Padasme Warrior. She's named Padasme Warrior. And she, every Sunday, she have said to a newspaper, she does a digital detox, which reboots her brain so she can start anew on Monday. She leave all old stuff and just clear her mind for more focus, for more productivity, and for more creative.
We heard that Google is starting to teach us as well. Do you know much about their program?
I know some about the program. I think they have a really cool name on the program. It's called Search Inside Yourself. So Google have been really creative there. They started out as a program for the employees, where the employees was offering to do mindfulness for stress relief and to get more effective. And then they discovered that this is really good, we have something here. And then they started to offer leadership training based on mindfulness, pretty much what I am doing here. So I'm kind of inspired by Google. And they take leaders and other people as well, but they have focused on leaders, how you can use mindfulness to be a better leader, both to lead yourself and to lead your team and company.
Can you give us a little glimpse into maybe some of your mindfulness practices, what you do commonly?
During like for a lecture, for example, which I'm going to give on Cedarwood in September, you are welcome to come here if you have the chance. I will talk about what happens in the brain, because I think that it's very, very interesting that it's not just a thing you do and you like observe your thoughts. Even that is cool, but it's actually happen things in your brain. Of course, I give you the benefits. What do you gain by doing meditation? And I also instruct how can you do meditation. And a really, really short version, how to be mindful, is 3 slow breaths. Everybody can do it. Everybody have it, so you don't have to buy anything. You can just do it. If I should talk you through it, you just like breathe in with your nose. Feel the air coming down through the lungs, through the stomach. Really, really feel the air. And also when the air is leaving, just feel how it leaves your stomach, your lungs, and come out through your mouth. Do that 3 times, really slow, and really pay attention on the air and on the breath. And you can, during that time, really feel how you kind of get in another mood.
Yeah.
And that's the really, really slow version of being mindfulness.
You know, I saw that on your website, you had quoted Russell Simmons, and he had this challenge to do this mindfulness or meditation 2 times a day for, was it 20 minutes?
Yeah.
For 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And to see what happened. Now, I think I'm going to take on that challenge because this is a new thing for me. And then I'll write a blog post about it on startupcabin.com. But in a 20-minute session where you're focused, where you want to be mindful, and maybe you're totally new to it. In 20 minutes, how does that work? You just sit down to start with a breathing, and then just stay quiet and focus with your eyes closed, or
you sit down. It's easy. You can stand, but it's easy if you sit down and you get a quiet place. And you choose something you want to focus on. It could be either your breath, or it could be a sound, or you can actually have your eyes open and just stare at something. But usually it's easier for people to use the breath. The breath is always with you. Focus on the breath. And even if you get distracted, that's not the problem. Or like you have done, you have been a failure or something. The training part is when you redirect your thought. If your mind is like out there and you discover, no, I'm not paying attention to my breath anymore, redirect your attention to the breath again. And that's actually the training. So it's not training to just breathe. It's not a breathing training. It's actually a paying attention training. So when you get the attention back to the breathing, that's one of, if you lift weights, that's one of the repetitions.
Okay.
So if you are aware that you haven't got lost anywhere, that's really good. But it's also really, really good every time you discover that you redirect your attention. So that's is good for the coming weeks when you do the challenge.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. I'll do that.
So I'm gonna keep Steve to this, and when he has done these weeks, I'll keep an eye on him. You have to come with comments on that blog post and his experience being all new with this.
Absolutely, I will. I will follow that with interest. But I'm really interested to hear when you are done with it, what kind of benefits that you discover, because there are both benefits in the working area for more focus, as I said before, more creativity, and more you get more effective, and also the health benefits. You maybe discover that you actually sleep better if you have sleeping problems before. You get stress reductions, or you just get calm or more happier. So it's a win.
Great.
I mean, it's very interesting because when you look at problem solving, often the biggest challenge is actually getting over frustration. And it's the same with teamwork. The biggest challenge in teamwork is getting frustrated with other people and not, getting forward past that and focusing on, the other person and their view of things. It seems like the frustration part and the stress part is a big challenge in our industry, because it's a lot about people, it's a lot about teamwork, and when it's not about teamwork, it's a lot about super focus. It's going to be very interesting to see Steve do this challenge.
Now, I know you also focus on training for people who are in leadership, they're managing. And so we have listeners who they could be in a young startup with a few people, or they could be in a bigger organization where they're actually managing people. And there are just natural things that come with that can cause stress, that can cause, you have to deal with people in the right way. And how can they be using mindfulness when they're dealing with people? Because I know that I read that one of the things that really helps you with is being more empathetic. You can really begin to see the other person's view a little bit better. But can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I will quote Peter Drucker, who is one of the great gurus in management and leadership. He said, to be a great leader and lead other people, you have to be able to lead yourself. And mindfulness and meditation are really one of the best ways to learn to know yourself. Where are my limits? How do I feel about something? And how do I react when I feel like that? Observing your thoughts and finding that stillness within you are going to learn so much about yourself. And take that with you when you approach a team or your co-workers or people in general. As you said, you are going to see their point of view much, much easier. You get more perspective and you get more empathic as well. But you also, what I think is really interesting, when you start paying attention to yourself, you get this kind of pause between incoming information and outgoing reactions. So if someone is coming up to you and say like, hey, what is this not done, or I don't understand, or really coming against you with emotional issues, you have this kind of pause. When you hear, you can reflect, and then you can choose either to go with the same language or another language. And that creates a completely different environment, and also a completely different understanding of the person that approach you.
I'm smiling because I know that I've used this in parenting. It's like a deep breath. Yeah. Now you're being a dad.
Yeah, yeah. It's good with children as well. Absolutely good with children. So that's another kind of a leadership. Absolutely. So that's good. And also, to be a good leader, you have to take good decisions to move your business forward. And actually, there's a survey that is really interesting. There's a university in Australia that's done it. I have the link on my homepage. So if you go meditate 15 minutes before you're taking a decision, you improve the decision's outcome with 77%. So you get 77% better decisions by using meditation.
Was it that was 15 minutes?
15 minutes, yes. So before taking this huge decision, should we buy this, or should we move forward with this, or should we quit this? And I think just quit things can be the most hardest part, because you have invested so much emotional. And there's why mindfulness also is really, really good, because you can, even if it's like emotional training, you can like disconnect from this emotional attachment, because you also train the attachment part. So when you go into a decision where you have invested a lot of emotional attachment to, you can actually see, no, even if I have put my whole heart in this isn't a good idea. And you can say that to yourself. That is kind of hard otherwise. It's like, I put a year in this and I really burned for it. So I have so much passion for it. So
we all take a note. All you startups, before your next pivot, do a 15-minute break.
Yeah, why not? Why not? And also, I think those 15 minutes can empower you to see things a different way. You don't have to go with a emotional way.
So actually, we should exchange 15 minutes of fame to 15 minutes of mindfulness instead, and get actually better companies.
Yeah,
it's so funny. I had one of my mentors here just this weekend flying in, and he's talked about that. I want you to take a decision on what are you gonna take away. And that was the hardest part for most people in our mentorship group, that like, how should I take something away? That was much, much more difficult than putting up, 20 goals and adding.
You mean like taking away from the company or your life, or? From
everything.
Okay.
Taking away goals, having less goals, having, less things to do. It's people forget that in our like kind of mass consumption, overconsumption culture, that taking away things, that's pretty much the most difficult thing for people. Yeah. So we're going to put the links that you talked about, the school, and also I thought that maybe you could put just a quick walkthrough of how to do simple mindfulness for our blog, and we'll post it there for our readers to read through. So maybe they can join Steve in the challenge. And thank you so much for coming, Jane.
Yeah. Thank you. It was very nice to be here, and thank you for the lovely questions. It's really a great way of living to be able to offer this as a business to people, both for the business to grow but also for people to grow. It's great. So thank you for having me.
This was Jane Skullman from Mindful Business talking about how to train your brain. I'm a bit of a brain nerd myself, so I kind of like this kind of statistics and science. If you want to join the conversation about hacking your brain and training your focus, comment at startupcabin.com/mindfulbusiness. There you can also find the notes and the transcription for this episode.
And there are lots of shows about startups, but if you like this show and you want people to find it, please consider going over to iTunes and giving it a rating and review. And also visit us over at startupcabin.com/blog. See what we're writing about, see what we're reading, the how-to we have up there, and we look forward to having you over.